You had one album. You know,
Yeah, one
the Lord
album,
Tariq
Lord
Peter
Tariq,
Gunz
Peter
album.
Gunz, Make It Rain.
Had a big hit on the record,
Right.
and then no more albums from you. Well, what was the reason for that?
You know, it was a weird thing. Me and Tariq put out Deja Vu, and Sean Pecos and Eric Beasley, Kevin Mitchell. They went out and promoted the record and got it up popping. And it was really just a natural hit record. It was a record that didn't. It was 16 bar verses. 24 bar verses, 16 bar hook, and it was about the Bronx and New York. So we didn't think much of it as a hit, and it got big. So it was just natural. But it was a record that I had, and Tariq was a solo artist. I was a solo artist, and we just all of a sudden said, we a group, we gonna make an album together. And we went to make the album, but we was riding so high off the single that by the time we put the album out, the single was dead, and nobody went and got the album. They just bought 2 million singles. So Columbia was kind of like iffy about our next album. They wasn't like, we wasn't getting the same treatment we was getting when we had the hit record. And we was almost hearing like, yo, we'll drop them in the air. And we was so at the time like, well, fuck it, drop us, we'll go get a deal somewhere else and do whatever. But we had gotten so bitter with the music industry that we kind of just fell back, man. And then when we decided to like go do solo projects and stuff, that didn't even like amount to much. So we just kind of got bitter with the industry, but always recorded and always made music, and but we definitely, in hindsight, the answer to your question, young and fucking stupid. I could sit here and make every excuse in the world. We was young and stupid. We should have continued on. We should have put the album out. We should have made more albums. We should have stayed together. We shouldn't have spent reckless money. We shouldn't have thought we was bigger than what we were. And it was just, we were young and stupid, man. Well, I was. I'll take that.
Do you feel that it was a one-hit wonder situation?
It's definitely a one-hit wonder. I could argue that all day, that I got hits, and if you listen to an album, you'll hear another hit. But numbers don't lie, baby. You only have one hit, so I'll eat that all day. I own one-hit wonder. People think they offend me when they say, yo, he's only a one-hit wonder. He ain't got no money. That's not offensive, because I know a lot of people that have been in this industry that's none-hit wonders. They have nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing. Never had a hit. I got a Grammy nomination. I got a Billboard Single of the Year. Got a Soul Train. Got a platinum plaque on the wall. That's more than people. That's you might think. I'm not trying to say that's everything, but I can say I had what it takes. I had what it took to do something in this business, and even if it was just one hit, I did it. It was a hell of a hit.
Oh, I mean, there's millions of artists out there who have 0 hits.
Yeah, so that's why I don't get offended. People be like, yo, you only a one-hit wonder, or he's just a one-hit wonder. Oh, shit, I'll take it. I'll take it any day. There's a lot of artists that out there that if you put on their records and then you put on Deja Vu, just watch the reaction. Watch the difference in reaction. Although we didn't get it, people be like, well, what about the money? And we didn't get sued, Vlad. I'm so tired of having to say this. We didn't get sued for the record. We relinquished all the publishing and gave $105,000 in order to use the sample. We didn't get sued. Because people be like, oh, they put the record out without clearing the sample. Who does that? That's not true. It just cost everything to use the sample.
Also, Steely Dan didn't even want to give you like 25% or nothing, huh?
Steely Dan didn't even give us writing credit. Deja Vu was written by Walter Becker and Donald Fagen. 2 old white men.
Oh, wow. Okay, he took everything.
Everything. Only money that Tariq and I made was appearances and tours. So when people were like, oh, what happened to the money? It wasn't a lot of money. We made some money touring. We made some bread, but it wasn't that much. It wasn't like that. I made money ghostwriting and doing a lot of other things. Now,
didn't the Locks have a song with the same beat right around the same time? But your song got bigger, so they changed the beat?
You know what, Vlad, about that, me and Jadakiss and Styles P, my son is with Styles P all the time in the Bronx at his juice spot. Those are my peoples. But it's always been, speculated that that you know, who had it first. They might have had it first. I don't know. What I know is when I heard the beat, it was the first time I rocked to it and wrote to it the way it was. The flip side, and this is where it gets interesting. When I jumped on the beat, I remember saying I want to rhyme over this beat like Mace or the Locks would do, because they was the new up and coming new dudes. And even though people look at me as the new dude, I was older than those dudes. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm gonna do it like, I'm gonna rhyme on this beat like Mace would rhyme. I swear, when I came out the booth, I was like, I maced that shit. That was my exact words when I finished my verse on Deja Vu. I wrote it regular, but when I went in the booth, I rhymed on it like I thought Mace would rhyme over it. And when I started hearing it, they had a joint off that, it was disturbing, because I'm like, oh, these niggas gonna think I bit fucking Deja Vu from them, but that was definitely not the case.